name's Mattea Smith, and I'm an engineer in training here at Hatch. So the way engineering works is that when you get your degree, you have an engineering degree, but you're still technically in training. You have to get 4 years of work experience. And then each province has their own kind of board, I guess, that regulates engineering for that province. So here it's called APEGS. And once you have that 4 years of work experience, you take an ethics exam and you submit your experience reporting to them. And then you can become an official engineer and you can stamp and take on all the responsibility and liability of things. But until then, in training. Yeah. So Hatch is an engineering company that originally started in Ontario, in Mississauga, but it's now a global engineering consulting company. So here in Saskatoon, we mostly work in the mining space. A lot of our offices actually work in the mining space, but we do have other offices that do things like rail projects and dam projects and bridges and all the different building engineering things people can think of. But the main thing with Hatch is that one of our kind of mottos is innovating in all that we do, and also maintaining the safety of our clients and everyone at whole. So yeah. So a structural engineer is really any structure, buildings, bridges, hospitals, houses, like any of that. But here at Hatch, we mostly do industrial type work. So in the mining space in the region, mining's a huge business here in Saskatchewan. So most of what I do and what our group in this office does is either upgrades to existing infrastructure or building or expanding onto like building new buildings or expanding onto existing buildings for new processes for our clients. A typical workday varies whether I'm in the office or whether I'm on site. So up to this point, I've kind of spent 50% in the office and 50% on our client sites. So while I'm in the office, I'm either building design models, like analytical models, testing, different layouts for buildings and projects and stuff like that, or meeting with project teams and with our clients. While I'm on site, though, a lot of my time is spent doing structural inspections. So that means I'm walking around the actual buildings, maybe things that we've built in the past, and making sure that they're still safe and that they're still doing what they were designed to do. So my career journey, I'm very lucky that it was pretty linear. I always kind of knew this was something I wanted to do ever since I was younger. I was fascinated by big buildings and bridges, and everyone kind of has this running joke that people who go into structural engineering imagine themselves building skyscrapers, and for a while that was, kind of what I envisioned myself doing. But I always knew this was something that I kind of wanted to focus on, and I was always one of those math, science, brain kind of people and loved solving the puzzles and everything. So I knew in some way I wanted my future career to focus on that. And so I originally was born and raised in northern Alberta in a smaller city, and I knew that if this was something I wanted to pursue, I had to, go to a bigger city and go to a university. And I ended up choosing here. I just felt like it's a big city with a lot of opportunities, but it didn't feel as overwhelming as Edmonton or Calgary or Toronto or something like that. So I moved here, and I was always taught that the best way to figure out if you like something is to get experience in it. So for every summer term in my university years, I applied to as many internships and summer jobs as I could. And in 2019, I was lucky enough to get a summer job here at Hatch. And ever since then, I did a summer term, an internship, and I've been full-time here for 1.5 years since graduation now. In terms of skills that are needed for structural engineering and just engineering in general, the first thing that pops into people's minds is they need to be really strong in math and science. They need to, have all the math down and be really good at physics or something. And at a surface level, yes, those skills are required to get through the post-secondary education and things like that. But I think more than anything, and it's way more noticeable once you get to, the actual profession in industry, you need to have the ability to solve problems, to handle stress. There's things that pop up all the time, and it's like, it's not a black and white answer of, oh, I can do this calculation and get this answer. You need to be able to sit and think about it, realize that there's not always one right answer, and you need to be able to effectively communicate that with your teams and with clients. I would say one of the best skills in working with teams is just being able to understand where everyone's coming from. It's very rare that you get a team that is always on the same page. That happens very rarely in any profession, but being able to listen to other people and understand their perspective, and also effectively communicate your own thoughts and opinions without, discrediting others, I think that's a really, really strong skill to have. For my job, I really love that every day is different. I mean, a lot of our projects are in the mining space, so I think a lot of people would think it's kind of the same thing over and over again. But different clients, new technologies, how everything's changed even in the last 5-10 years, no project is the same. And so you're constantly learning and constantly growing. And I think I'm very lucky to be in a career that's not just gonna be the first 5 years of my career learning new things. I think it's a continuous, ongoing thing for the rest of my career. I think for opportunities in the future for people going into engineering, specifically structural engineering, I think there's a lot of opportunities. They're really endless. A lot of infrastructure, especially in like the industrial space, the mining space that we work in, a lot of it is aging infrastructure. A lot of it was built 50 plus years ago, and it's in need of a lot of maintenance and upgrades. And so there's constant work coming in for that. They're building a lot of new mines in the area. And if someone wants to do structural engineering for residential, or they want to build schools and hospitals and bridges and things like that, a lot of that infrastructure is aging too. I don't see an end to the need for structural engineers or engineering in general. It's always been something that's ongoing, and I think it's going to continue. I think if someone wants to get into engineering, there's obviously that hurdle of getting into post-secondary initially. I think with that, there's the hurdles of economic boundaries, but also, you have to get a certain level of grades to be able to get into university. And I think a lot of people need to keep in mind that there are so many resources now that are there to help students get into careers like this. And there's no shame there shouldn't be any judgment in people accessing those resources. Scholarships, there's so many that are underutilized. There's so many scholarships that are underutilized. And if that's a boundary for students, I would highly encourage them doing research and talking to their counselors and teachers about different opportunities. For myself, as a female in the engineering profession, I think I definitely came in with this perception that I would be a minority and perhaps not feel as included or as accepted in this industry as I do. And it wasn't until I started working at Hatch that I realized just how many movements are being made in engineering and the mining space to make equality a priority and to make no one feel an outlier in this industry. For advice for students, I think it's very cliche. It's probably something they hear a lot, but there are no stupid questions. I'm sure that's advice a lot of people give, but it took me a long time to truly accept that and realize that that was a boundary for myself. That was something that was holding me back. And it honestly wasn't until university, where I had friends that were too shy to speak up and ask their own questions, and I was asking questions on their behalf, that I realized, no, I'm actually learning so much more. And if you have a question, it's likely that everyone else does too. And we notice it in profession as well. We have students come in and they're too shy to say that they don't know something or to ask a question about something. And at the end of the day, it's so much more efficient, and they are learning so much more if they feel comfortable doing that.